Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my channel once again. It's a pleasure having you around. I hope you have subscribed. If you have not, just click on that red button and then you subscribe, like, comment. Let me know your thoughts. Today we are on again, and I have a very important personality that is with me. She's a friend. She has been a friend from my undergraduate days, and we schooled together at the University of GIZ. By name, her name is Tamwakat Shingel. She has a very interesting foundation that I'm so much interested in, and I want to discuss with her. It's tagged Bring Up Boys.
Bringing Up Boys.
Bringing Up Boys. Thank you very much.
Exactly.
It's tagged Bringing Up Boys. So she's interested in how boys are raised, and that's what caught my attention. We've had a lot of initiative for girl child, but very few for boys child, and she's just taking it up as a challenge, as a responsibility. Well, let me tell you something about her. Her face has not changed from when I used to know her as an undergraduate. So, what's the secret of your not growing old? I don't know.
Wow, this is an attack.
No. It's not a hate speech.
I wasn't expecting this
It's not
kind
a
of
hate
thing from
speech.
you.
Why are you not growing old? Or how are you not growing old?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it just runs in our family.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
But I'm grateful to God.
All right.
Yeah.
So, Tam, that's the name I used to call her. So, you're welcome to my show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right. So, before we talk about bringing up boys, what have you been up to? It's been many years, and I know that you've been up and doing as a family woman and all of that.
Yes. Well, like you said, I've been up and doing first thing, family first, like we always say. I'm more or less a domestic woman, but then I've been at my job also.
Okay.
My job is not highly tasking, so it gives me some room to be able to balance between the job and my family.
Okay.
And I've also gone back to school.
Okay.
That's they say adult education. I'm going back to school at this age
for a master's program.
Yes, for my master's program.
Okay.
For my master's program, but it hasn't been the same. This time around, I am more serious, more responsible than before, because I've learned a lot. I've learned where I made mistakes in the past, and now that I have children, I have a husband who doesn't have money to waste. I better be serious.
I get that. I mean, even if you had money to waste, the current economy does not support wastage.
Exactly.
So we block the holes.
Yes.
We plug all the holes. So you are passionate about raising boys.
Yes.
How did you come about the vision?
Well, it started since I was a teenager. But I didn't take it seriously that time. I used to just observe around me and get bothered about how our parents treated our brothers, treated other boys. I remember specifically, I had a friend, my childhood friend. We just finished secondary school. That time she's the firstborn. The firstborn, and she has younger brothers. So what she used to do that time was she would wake up. She was working. So she would wake up as early as 4 a.m. Cook lunch, breakfast and lunch for these boys, for the whole family, and then sweep the whole house. In fact, while they were sweeping, she would enter their room, sweep the room, and mop up the place while they were still sleeping. I was just a little girl, but I didn't like it. I was bothered. I now told her, I said, this thing that you're doing is not right. You have to wake up by 4 just to do these things and go to work. Can't they do this? Can't they do it by themselves? And it's not as if they were little boys. They were big boys that could handle these things. So things like that, I started observing, and then sometimes I see people post things on social media, and then it gets me angry. It gets me sincerely angry. Sometimes even from my response, you will see that, in fact, there was one response that I later had to delete because it was like an attack, on the person. And then just last year, I just woke up one morning, and then I woke up with a very strong urge to speak out, to speak for the boy child. I don't know where it came from, but it was so strong. And then that same day, the name Bringing Up Boys just dropped. I didn't have to search.
Yeah.
I didn't have to do considerations, consultations, ask, all those things. It just dropped.
So basically, you notice that the way boys have been brought up is different from the way girls have been brought up from your immediate environment. So that motivated you to do something. And it's quite interesting. Maybe because we didn't grow up from the same environment, my father never allowed that in his home. Okay, so his firstborn, second, and third were all boys. So anything a girl could do, they did. And so when I came, and I already had a sister, I was not indulged. None of us was indulged. As a matter of fact, my father would say, I'll train you the way I'll train my girl. You need to know how to cook. I don't know where you'll be tomorrow. And, so when we tried to make noise, we did the work on the farm. He said, well, he doesn't know that, and the man insisted. And today we are better off for it because I always thank God that anything a lady can do, especially if it has to do with home chores.
Very few parents like that.
Yeah. He did.
Very few people have that understanding.
One of my brothers is in the status of a grandparent now, but he cooks a lot. He cooks a lot. Not just that he cooks, he loves to cook.
That's good.
He loves to cook. And for me, I think one of the things I love most is domestic chores. Washing plates, washing dirty pots, and I still do that, So you saw that and you felt something needs to be done.
Yes.
So you came up with this initiative, which is very, very important. But have you thought of the critical areas that you think needs attention? First, did you grow up among boys? Do you have siblings that are boys?
I have brothers, yes.
Okay.
I have 3 brothers.
Okay. Senior or junior or senior
2
and junior?
seniors,
Okay.
1 younger one.
Did you notice the way you are raised is different from the way they were raised? Some ways?
Some ways.
Okay.
Some ways.
Okay.
When we were kids, they used to just go out and play. And then the girls, we will do all the
house chores,
domestic chores. But then later, as they started to grow, it looked as if their own job was to just wash the cars in the house.
Okay.
That was just it.
Okay.
But then it got to a point where everybody had to go to school. Everybody had something to do.
Yeah.
So when it got to that point, my mom now realized that she can't be leaving these boys. Yeah. So anybody who was around would cook.
Okay.
We lived in a very large house.
Okay.
Apart from my brothers, we had cousins, nephews, nieces. It was an extended family. So anybody who was around would just cook. And it's the same thing today. Okay. In my parents' house. Okay. The boys that live with them, they cook.
Yeah. So have you been able to identify critical areas you think that we need to pay attention as we raise boys? Or have you paid attention to critical areas you think the boy child needs attention?
Yes.
Okay.
It's actually all encompassing. I don't think there's an area where the boy child is already stable.
Okay.
Everything, it is an all encompassing thing because we want to raise well-rounded, balanced men.
Okay.
Like you earlier said. So we're looking at the spiritual aspect of the boy child. Okay. We're looking at the social aspect, the physical aspect, emotional aspect, psychological aspect. Okay. Yes. Okay. So these are the 5 things that where
you think needs to be addressed.
Yes.
When you mentioned the psychological aspect, I remember how they would say that men don't cry.
Yes.
Yes. And I say real men cry.
They do.
Jesus wept. And Jesus was a man.
Exactly. I used this exact verse when I spoke in my church. Okay. In my church. Okay. I think it's more of an emotional thing than psychology.
Now, it's also part of psychology.
Yes.
If you don't have the capacity to cry, you can't empathize.
No, you can't.
You see, so you are not a person, you are not a normal person. Mm-mm. A person who is always strong is not normal. Okay? There are weak days. And so if you cannot cry, you cannot be human. And if you are not human, one of the reasons why high rate of men commit suicide is because they can't express their emotion.
Express themselves. And society stops them from expressing themselves.
Yeah.
Society tells them that you are a man. You should man up.
I think a person who cannot man up will not cry. The one that can man up will cry. That's my own definition. I'll tell you why. Growing up, till my teenage years, I don't cry. Not because I don't want to cry. I want to cry, but tears wouldn't come. I remember a friend of mine lost
But
his mom.
there are women like that too.
Good.
Yes.
That is not a healthy emotional state.
Expression.
Because I remember my friend lost his mom and I wanted to sympathize with him, and then I had to put rub in my eyes, okay? Ventilator, so that
like you were crying.
Yeah, so that tears can come out. I was a teenager. I was a teenager, okay? And I just knew it was not normal. So one of the first things I did, I will tell you, was to begin to seek emotional healing. It should, because then, no matter what happened, it doesn't pain me, and I start shedding tears. Unfortunately, I lost my mom a month after. Of course, I cried, but I couldn't cry for too long. But I knew that something was wrong. I was not emotionally healthy if I couldn't express my vulnerability.
Yes.
And eventually, I'm healed today, okay? If I'm too excited, sometimes I could shed tears. If I watch movies, sometimes I could shed tears. And I think I prefer to be on that end. And I don't feel too strong to cry, okay? I've cried before my wife. I'm sure I've cried before the church or before a group of people. The point...
Did you cry on stage?
Yeah, I think I have done it before. Okay, no. I didn't. I think it was Ostiman that cried on stage. But basically, when a man can man up, he should be able to man up to shed tears.
Yes.
That is a healthy emotion.
In fact,
it's not a sign of weakness.
It takes courage to express that you need help.
Good.
I like that.
Good. So, do you agree? There's this popular saying, and I know I've had this conversation with you on chat.
I know.
Do you agree that a girl of the same age is more mature than a boy? A girl and a boy of the same age, the girl child is more mature than the boy. Do you agree?
Okay.
It's a common saying. I've heard people say it.
Yes.
I necessarily don't agree with that. Maybe based on experience, but at the same time, I don't know. I want to know.
Well, I have read a few studies.
Okay.
Maybe not a few, maybe 2 or 3.
Okay.
2 or 3, where the researchers said that boys mature slower than girls.
Okay.
Yes. That boys mature slower than girls, and they gave reasons due to certain hormones, and all that. And I have seen it too.
Okay, in real life.
I've seen it in real life.
Okay.
I've seen it in real life.
Okay.
But I know that for every rule, there are exceptions.
Okay.
There are exceptions. I also believe in individuality.
Okay.
People can be different. It's not every boy that matures slower than the girl beside him.
Okay.
There's individual difference. And then there's also the issue of experience.
Okay, so we're talking about physical maturity, and then we're talking about experience now.
Now, sometimes it is your experience that teaches you.
That's true.
How to learn wisdom.
To
learn wisdom.
Yeah.
So that's the maturity we're talking about. But when you talk about physical maturity, girls, that one, they say that at puberty, girls mature faster.
More faster.
You see all their physical, sexual organs, growing and all that.
Yeah.
So I was saying that there's also the issue of experience.
Yeah.
Sometimes a person's experience makes him mature.
Yeah.
It makes the person to mature very fast.
Yeah.
So if a boy, depending on his own experience, he can mature faster than the girl who didn't have that experience.
Okay.
So I think it's just relative.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So what could be responsible? Well, you have mentioned the fact that biologically the girl matures faster, and then exposure sometimes also. A young boy that loses his parent has to take responsibility.
Yes.
Certainly they will be more mature than a girl of the same age and all of that. So between the father and the mother and the society, who will you task with the responsibility of bringing up the boy child as he should be?
You know what? It's everybody. It's everybody because everybody knows one boy somewhere. It's either you have a son, or you have a younger brother, or you are a teacher, you have students who are boys, or you have one neighbor that is always running around coming to you. I, for example, would have said It's not my business.
Yeah.
I don't have a son.
Yeah.
All my children are girls.
Okay.
So that's why I said it's everybody's responsibility.
Yeah.
It's everybody because everybody is affected.
Okay.
Now, even if,
because ultimately your girls will get married to a man.
Exactly.
And you want a
that's where I'm
responsible
going.
boy. Yeah.
That's where I'm going. So
Yeah.
we spend a lot of time
Yeah.
grooming girls, and they end up with boys who were not groomed. So at the end of the day, what have we done?
This point you just made is so serious, and I can relate to what you are saying, because I also find myself in position of leadership where you see ladies that are mature for marriage, and then you can't see the boys of certain age, of same age, being ready.
Yes.
Oftentimes when you see the boys, they tell you they are not ready. They tell you they are not thinking of settling down. They are thinking of so many other things. And oftentimes it's simply because they were not given the training they should have early. So when they should make certain decisions, they are not fit to make the decisions.
Yes.
And the society is not kind to the male child. I need to also let you know that. You may not understand that because you are not a male. But I need to let you know that there is a level of pressure that comes on the male child that the society puts on us, okay? Right from the point where you are induced to maturity to a point where you are considered a provider, a sole provider. Until recently, when we began to have women coming up wanting to be career-oriented and support their husband, the man is seen as someone who should take care of his immediate family, extended family, and all of that. So the boy child sometimes doesn't have time for fun. I was chatting with somebody early this morning, and she wants somebody she can marry that is fun-filled. And I was saying to myself, really? Beautiful, it's good. But an average man is always calculating, how do I pay the bills? How do I do this? How do I do that?
But do you know why that happens?
Why?
Because we didn't start them from the scratch.
Okay.
You just leave the boy and he's on his own, without direction,
Yeah.
without instruction. We don't sit them down to teach them what we teach girls.
Yeah.
So he just grows up and boom, he's in the world, and the world is too big. He's trying to find his footing, and he knows that he has to put food on the table. But before that time, nobody taught him how to put food on that table.
That's
Nobody
true.
told him that you are a provider. God
That's true.
created you a provider.
That's
But
true.
then we are trying to empower women right from when they are
Yeah.
girls. Empower yourself, go to school, get something doing. But we don't tell the boys that.
All right.
You understand?
I'm trying to correct that. I'm telling my son, I told him he's the firstborn. I told him his siblings will start asking him for money. And so he's learning coding currently.
Okay.
He's trying to find his feet. Of course, he's still in junior secondary school, but he should start.
Okay.
The sister also is already learning something.
Yeah.
It's important that we start early. Build the consciousness in them, teach them, talk to them.
Yes.
In one of your posts, I remember you saying, even for the boy to pee in the toilet seat, he should be taken there. And I quite agree with you. I wake up my children to go pee at night, and I make sure that I drum that into their ear, so that ethics and etiquette of being a man, should
proper
be
behavior.
proper behavior.
We feel as if it's only girls that should behave properly.
Yeah.
But boys also.
Whereas the boys need to behave properly.
Yes.
The issue of domestic violence is lack of proper training. Sexual abuse.
And all that.
A boy should be taught that a lady's body is not a means
It's
of
not an
object for you. You know, you learn to respect
Yes.
the opposite sex, and you don't harass them, don't abuse them, and all of that, so that they too can learn to be human.
And about that, on the flip side,
Yeah.
we forget that boys also get abused.
Yes, that's true.
We have forgotten that completely.
That's true.
So we always tell our girls, be careful.
Yeah.
Don't go to a dark place, an isolated place. Don't stay with boys. Don't do this. We try to protect the girls.
Yeah.
But we forget that the boys also get abused. They get sexually molested. And their own is worse because they get molested by women and men.
Yeah.
Both women and men. You know.
In most cases, because of the culture of silence also, where they are not even encouraged to speak
out.
They take that with themselves. They grow and become broken men.
Yes.
Broken men that some of them can't really find love again.
Yeah.
It altered the course of their lives because of some of the things.
They can't find love and they can't show love.
They can't show love, that's true. Because maybe the first time they got involved in the issue of sex, it was an older person that abused them. So they never grew up to understand the place of it. That sense of violence is in them. they rape, they do all kinds of things, you know. So what are the means you have employed so far in your advocacy to talk about?
Well, first,
Yeah.
we have been using social media.
Okay.
We have a social media page, or is it group?
Okay.
So most of the advocacy is on social media.
Okay.
And then I've been to a church, I've been to a media house.
Okay.
And part of our program is to take the advocacy to schools,
Okay.
to churches, to the media, you know, to anyone who is willing to listen.
Okay.
But the constraint we're having now is funding.
Okay.
Especially for the media now, we will need to buy airtime,
Yeah.
because I can't just go on air, you know, freely like that. So that's why we have just been on social media for now.
Okay, so if anybody now wants to reach out to you, okay, how best can they reach out to you or be part of what you are doing?
Well, it's open for anybody who
The name on this on the
it's
Facebook
open for
is
anybody who is willing to
the
volunteer.
group
The
on the
group name
Facebook.
is Bringing Up Boys
Bringing Up Boys. Okay,
Foundation.
so
Okay, on Facebook is Bob Foundation.
okay, BUB Foundation.
BUB Foundation.
All right, so just check the screen. You see the name there, and then you can, so they can reach you through the Facebook group.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
and so far, do you have some testimonials of parents having learned some things from what you taught?
Yes.
Or
I
maybe
have.
some boys who have also.
The mostly parents.
Okay.
Mostly parents, because I haven't had the opportunity to reach out to
Boys
to go to
directly.
any school.
Reach
you know,
out to boys
specifically,
directly.
yes. So I've reached out mostly to parents, and the responses have been quite encouraging.
Great.
The responses have been positive. In fact, the last time I spoke, some of the women were like, they wanted my phone number, they're going to call me to their church, you know, and all that. People were happy. The women were saying that they didn't know that they were supposed to treat their boys like that.
Same way they treat their girls.
Yes, they said that it was an eye opener, that they didn't know all this one.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so any word for parents that have boys? Sometimes you even have single moms that have boys. When we say single mom, not because they are divorced, some have lost their husband and they choose not to remarry or not ready to remarry.
Yeah.
Some are fathers and then they have the children. Any word for them?
yes, you know, as parents, we have to be open to new knowledge. You know, that's why people are coming up with this advocacy these days. People are realizing that boys have been left behind because it's new knowledge. We need to be open to learn and unlearn and relearn.
Okay.
Don't say that, don't depend on your culture. Don't say that this is how I was raised. This is my culture doesn't say this, my culture doesn't say that. Just open your mind and learn new things so that our society will be better. And when we talk about raising boys, it's not because we are against raising girls. No. The idea is that we just want to strike a balance.
Yeah.
Let's have a balance.
Yeah.
As you concentrate on the girl, don't leave that boy behind. Because at the end of the day, she's going to end up with a man.
Yeah.
Most likely end up with a man.
Yeah.
And then the aim of you raising that girl will be defeated if she ends up with the wrong person.
Man.
Yes, because her life will just be messed up. You know, so my advice to parents and to everybody who is interested is learn new things, be open to new knowledge, and create a balance. Sometimes we post on social media and some people come out to say, even girls, they do this now, even girls, they do this. I tell them, we're not saying that girls don't do these things. We're only focusing
on the boy. Yeah.
Yes.
Because the consciousness for raising the girl is now at a high level.
Yes.
And then from a little child, we teach them etiquette of sitting, dressing, and all of those things. And then the boys also should be given corresponding attention.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, viewers. I'm sure you have enjoyed Tam's work and all that she's doing. If you want to support her, you reach out through the Facebook page. You can be part of the group. You can invite her you can donate to her towards the cause. It's a worthy cause because boys are becoming endangered species.
Yeah.
Good boys, responsible men
Good boys
are becoming endangered species, and we need to rescue them.
Yeah.
We need to rescue them. Men are fathers in society. They are protectors. They are providers. They are like fortress. They are guards. Okay.
Yes.
And once you begin to lose men, they are emasculated. Once men are emasculated, then they can't protect the women. And that's already a problem on its own. So thank you, Tam, for your time. We really appreciate. And then behind the camera, we have Imade, we have Sunena. Thank you so much. We thank you, Uncle Cho. We thank you for your time. And until I come your way next time, I remain Sola John, your host. And don't forget, subscribe, like, and comment. Thank you.
Thank you.